Miami Heat Nation, what is going on? So, in today's video, we got tons of Miami Heat news coming out today. We got a player I believe the Miami Heat should draft if they're projected to get this pick. And we're definitely going to go break it down, his comparison, his stats, and all that good stuff. You guys are definitely going to want to hear that. Also, we're going to be talking about some trade targets for the offseason. And also, should we trade Andrew Wiggins for a bigger whale? And all that other stuff. So if you guys enjoy my content, keep liking, keep sharing, keep subscribing. I appreciate you guys so much. You guys absolutely mean the world to me. And I wouldn't have been on this upload streak if it wasn't for you guys. We're on day 57 and our goal is to upload for 365 days. So just think about that, guys. But anyways, let's get back in today's video. So first thing first, we're going to talk about this. So it says Heat owner Mickey is clapping for future, maybe Heat, Cooper Flagg, as he checks out for the final time tonight. And as you see right there, he's there. So I thought that was interesting. It looks like it could be two things. They just want to see Cooper Flagg play because he's going to be a generation talent, or they're scouting. They're trying to see what Cooper Flagg is about, how talented he is in person. Because, obviously watching him on the screen can be different than in person. You can see his body language and all that good stuff. So, hey, maybe the Heat are scouting very, very early, which is very, very interesting. So let me know what you guys think about this. But not only that, you had Spo spotted at Duke versus Miami game last night also. So you got the head coach scouting, obviously Cooper Flagg. And then you got Mickey scouting Cooper Flagg. Now, it's going to be impossible to get Cooper Flagg unless we land the number one pick. But they could possibly look at other players on that team. So I think that's something interesting to talk about for sure. Next topic, though. It says the Heat are currently on pace to win 38 games this season, which is disgusting. The last time Miami won 38 or fewer games in a regular season, 2014, 2015, right after another big-time star left in Miami. Wild how history repeats itself. So, yeah, it's like I've been having a conversation with you guys about this for a while. Like, the Heat are so bad right now that, I think – even if we have our best players playing, we're still going to lose, and we're just going to keep losing, and we're going to get a higher lottery pick and stuff like that. But yeah, man, it's been a really tough year. We had the whole Jimmy situation, and then obviously after the Jimmy situation, we have new players, we have blown leads, we had Spo being terrible pretty much throughout the year. It really just hasn't really been great, and it kind of sucks as a Heat fan because, like I said, I want to do what's best for the organization, and that's lose games. But then also as a Heat fan, you want to win. You hate when these teams beat you. And we do play today, so we'll see what happens with that. But, Jovic is going to be done for the season. You don't know what's going on with Jaime. Bam is questionable. So, we'll see what happens. Now, this is interesting, right? So he says, Heat fans, are you doing this trade this summer? So the Miami Heat receives Kevin Durant. The Phoenix Suns receives Andrew Wiggins, Jaime, Duncan, and a first-round pick and a 2031 first-round pick. Durant is averaging 28 points per game in the last 3 years, shooting 53, 40, 87 splits. Now, this is the question about Andrew Wiggins, right? Do we keep Andrew Wiggins? Is Andrew Wiggins a trade piece, or is he a future piece that can stay with the team of Tyler, Bam, and Wiggins? Now, I'll tell you this. If Tyler, Bam, and Wiggins is the new big three in Miami, we're not going far. And that's not bashing Tyler, Bam, or Wiggins. They're good, but there's no legitimate number one option, and there's really no legitimate two option on the team. Think about it. Wiggins is not a number two option. Tyler's not a number one option or two option, in my opinion. And so is Bam. It's tough. I think they're all number three options, and that's not a bad thing. They're three options on a contender team, but they're supposed to be the number one guy on the Miami Heat. And so would you offer this trade, and do you think the Suns would take it? I think the Suns are automatically trading Kevin Durant, and I think that's why the Miami Heat desperately need to get on this ASAP. And maybe they want to play in Andrew Wiggins, and then obviously to get Jaime. The problem is Jaime hasn't played that well. So are they going to look past this season and be like, hey, I see the potential. Let's go with him. And you got to remember, our first-round picks are not really that great. We got them, but they're not the greatest first-round picks. So they're going to be looking since your first-round picks are not the greatest, we need young talent in return. And maybe they look at Wiggins as that piece, as a long-term piece with Booker, but then Jaime, we might have to throw something else in there to possibly get Kevin Durant. Or maybe we don't. We'll see what happens, man. But I've been preaching to get Kevin Durant pretty much this whole time. I personally want him. I would do this trade in a heartbeat. And also another thing, too, is just after this season, Wiggins has 1 year left on his contract. So if we don't extend Wiggins, he's probably going to leave anyways. So why not try to trade Wiggins for the bigger whale and Kevin Durant? Just think about that, guys. But let me know in the comment section what you guys think about that. Do you want to trade these pieces for Kevin Durant? Obviously, we talked about that. Spo, kind of scouting Duke game. Now, this is where we're at. So it says Bleacher Report, latest mock draft with the Heat drafting 14th, which is the Warriors pick, point guard Jeremiah Fears. How would you feel about this Heat Nation? Now, I'm going to show you a little stuff about Jeremiah Fears. Now, he is a point guard, like I said. And the best thing about that is, like, we really haven't had a point guard in how long? Like, since Goran Dragic. Like, Terry Rozier has been terrible. Kyle Lowry was cool. But we need a legitimate point guard, because if we have a legitimate point guard, it makes Khalil Weir, like, it makes Bam's job a little bit easier. It even makes Tyler Herro's jobs easier, right? So he's a 6'4" freshman, weighs about 182 yards, 182 pounds, played for the Sooners. This year's averaging about 16 points a game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, while shooting 44.4% from the field, which is funny because everything lands in 4, it looks like. Look at this, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 4. Like, damn, that means something for sure. But he's averaging 29 minutes a game, right? He's not the greatest three-point shooter, as you see. I mean, career 28.7. That is bad. Free throw shooter is about 84%, which is fine. 3.6 turnovers is something concerning to me, because, like, as a point guard, you don't want to be turning the ball over that much. He had a high clip at 4. So that's a little bit concerning. His personal fouls is 2 fouls a game. He does average about 1.6 still, so you can round it up for 2. But these are the type of players that you could possibly get at that 14th pick. And that's why I like Jeremiah Fears. Don't get me wrong. But, like, you want to go up a little bit more, right? And so the shooting's not there, but that can obviously change, right? He's still fairly young. He can get better at that. The turnovers, we got to work on that. But in his last couple games, as you see right here, he went from 8 points to 8 points, but then played a little bit better. And his field goal percentage is still not the greatest, 37%. 23%, 33%. This is not the greatest, right? But he did put up 15 to 22 to 27. And you can see the turnover rate ratio right here, 3.3533. You know what I mean? So, like I said, and then when you look at the assists, the ratio is 10 to 3, which is okay, not that bad. But 2 to 3, him having more turnovers than assists is something to watch out for. He had 1 assist this game to 5 turnovers. So those are the few things I'm kind of worried about. You know what I mean? Because you just can't have that in the NBA, right? But then also we're gonna read this article about Jeremiah Fears. We're gonna break it down a little bit more on who he is and stuff like that. So obviously I just showed you the stats, but it says through 27 games this year, he's been averaging 16 points a game. 28% from the three-point line. I brought that up. It says, has been the most competitive conference in college basketball this season. So while his game has not been flawless, the level of competition he faces, combined with the fact that he entered college a year earlier, gives him some leeway for sure. Despite this concerns, his performance in Oklahoma 2 most in recent games has been impressive. And that's when he dropped 22 points with very efficient. Like, he was efficient from the field, which is pretty good. As you see right here, 22 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 7 for 15, 4 for 8, 4 for 5 at the free throw line in 34 minutes. Fears follows up the game with his best performance of the year against Mississippi State with 27 points. So obviously he's moving up the rankings with his recent play, which is pretty good. It says his ability to orchestrate the offense as both a scorer and a distributor highlighted the value he could bring at the next level. Given his reclassification, he's still ample time to grow. And with his already impressive offensive skill set, the sky's the limit for how early he could hear his name called in the upcoming draft. Now, these are the type of projects I personally love. The Miami Heat. How do we get an ad right here, really, to take a chance on? Because you see the talent. There's pros and cons with it, of course, right? And he's only going to get better. So that's kind of a player that we might be looking at as Jeremiah Fears. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think about him. Let me know if you guys want to draft him. Let me know if you guys are looking at something different. But if you guys enjoyed this video, once again, keep liking, keep sharing, keep subscribing. I love y'all, and I'm out. Peace.